The lake is perfectly still. Not a single ripple disturbs its surface. It reflects the pale sky above like a second world waiting in silence, its edges lined with trees that don't move and reeds that don't rustle. You stand at the edge, barefoot, the cold ground beneath you soft and patient. There is no wind. No sound. Only the sensation that something beneath the surface has noticed you. Not with eyes. With memory. A narrow wooden dock stretches out in front of you, old but steady, each plank warmed by some unseen sun. You walk across it, slowly, each step soundless. As you reach the end, a small boat awaits, tethered by a thread of silver that shimmers faintly even in the absence of light. You untie it with fingers that already know the motion. The boat rocks once, welcoming, not uncertain, and you step inside. It fits you perfectly. Not just your body, but your weight, your breath, your stillness. You sit, and the boat begins to drift forward, needing no oars, no direction. The lake accepts you. You look over the edge and see your reflection, clear and unblinking. But it's not exactly you. It's a version softened by quiet. A you that never had to hurry. That never had to hold your breath for anyone else. The reflection watches, not judging, only witnessing. You blink, and the image doesn't. You look away. The boat glides forward. The surface of the lake grows darker, not ominous, but deep, like ink waiting for words. The trees lining the shore begin to blur, and you feel the air shift, thickening slightly as if becoming a gentle thought. Below the boat, the reflection of the sky begins to change. Stars appear where there are none above. Constellations flicker softly beneath you, glowing with shapes that feel familiar and forgotten. A crescent of light curves ahead in the water. An opening, not to another shore, but downward. The lake begins to part, and the boat lowers with it, not sinking, not falling, descending. The air grows cooler. The hush deepens. You pass below the surface, yet you stay dry. The water does not resist you. It folds around you like a dream you agreed to enter. The world above fades into a soft blur. Below you, the lake reveals its hidden self, a world turned inside out, suspended in the stillness beneath the scene. Lights flicker in the depths. Small and slow-moving, like memories drifting free of time. The boat glides toward them. You do not steer. You do not speak. You only breathe. The water hums gently around the hull. A sound like forgotten lullabies. The descent continues, soft as fog. And something beneath the lake begins to remember you. The descent slows, and the boat comes to rest upon a smooth plain of glowing water. It's not a floor, not truly, more like a memory of stillness shaped into something you can trust. Around you, the water pulses in subtle waves, each ripple carrying a feeling instead of a sound. One drifts through the boat and brushes against your skin like silk, the feeling of being seen without expectation. Another follows, warmer, heavier, a memory of someone once holding space for you without asking why. These are not visions. They are sensations, and they arrive without story, without shape. You let them pass through you. Above, the surface of the lake has vanished entirely. The world you knew is no longer visible. But this doesn't frighten you. It calms you. There is nothing to return to just yet. Only this. A slow movement begins in the water ahead. Shapes emerge, not physical forms, but gentle echoes, made of light and breath and thought. They drift toward the boat in silence, each one moving with the rhythm of a lullaby. You do not fear them. You recognize them. They are pieces of you. Versions left behind when you had to be strong. Selves forgotten in the noise of becoming. They circle the boat. Some are small, delicate, formed from childhood wonder and unspoken wishes. Others are tall and quiet, holding the silence of choices you made without knowing why. None of them speak. They simply hover, each one holding a quiet invitation. You meet their eyes, if they have eyes. You feel their presence more than you see their shape. One of them, closest to the bow of the boat, leans forward and gently touches the surface of the water. A single tone rings out, low, round, soft. The others echo it in turn, and suddenly the lake is full of soundless music. You close your eyes, and it becomes a warmth behind your ribs. Not happiness. Not sadness. Just a deep knowing. The echoes drift back a little, giving space, and the water ahead begins to shimmer in a new way, folding open like curtains made of starlight. Behind them waits a passage, narrow and inviting, carved from mist and memory. The boat turns toward it on its own. You feel no need to ask where it leads. You already know. Forward. Inward. Deeper. The echoes follow behind you, their light gentle, their presence steady. They are not gone. They are simply with you now. Part of the quiet. Part of the dream. The boat slips into the passage, and the lake falls silent again. Only your breath remains. And even that begins to soften into something slower, something weightless, something more like peace. The passage narrows, its walls made not of stone or plant, but of memories without voices. Faint images drift across the mist, moments you don't remember, but somehow know. A hand resting on yours when you were too tired to speak. A quiet sunrise watched through half-closed eyes. The scent of something warm you once associated with safety. The boat moves slowly, as if it, too, is remembering. The water beneath grows even calmer, thick with stillness. Each ripple feels like a sigh from a version of you that once needed to be heard. The mist shifts, curling around the boat in tendrils of soft silver, never clinging, never hiding, just wrapping the moment in privacy. You feel as if the world has paused just for this. Time folds gently inward, like pages being turned by a careful hand. A new light glows ahead, dim and golden, rising from beneath the water's surface like a lantern dropped into a dream. As the boat draws near, you see that it's not a lantern at all, but a structure, small, circular, and floating. A platform of wood and light, impossibly suspended in the lake's depths. In its center, a cushion of moss and feathers waits for you, shaped to your form though you've never been here before. The boat halts beside it with the gentlest touch. You step out. The platform holds you completely. As you sit, the mist retreats, pulling back like a curtain revealing only silence. There is nothing to do here. No guidance to follow. You close your eyes. Not to sleep, Not to think, just to be. And in the stillness, you begin to hear something. Faint at first. A pulse. Not from the water. From within. Your own rhythm, slowed and steady, mirrored by the deep hum of the lake. The two blend together. Breath and stillness. Presence and place. You sit like that for what feels like a long exhale. And when you open your eyes, the lake has changed again. The water glows now with shifting colors, slow-moving blues and greens and violets. Each wave tells a story without words. A feeling you've forgotten how to name. A calm so deep it almost feels sacred. The boat is waiting. You step back in. The cushion vanishes behind you. The platform fades as if it was only ever meant for one moment. You drift on, surrounded by water that now reflects not the world above, but the world within. A landscape of rest. A quiet shore you carry with you. The passage opens wider. The next part of the lake is waiting. And somewhere ahead, the echoes begin to sing. The song begins without instruments. It's not made of melody in the usual sense. It hums from the walls of the lake, from the ripples around the boat, from somewhere inside your breath. It's the kind of sound you don't listen to. You remember it. And in remembering, you relax deeper into the space around you. The echoes have returned. They hover just beyond the boat's wake, their forms softer now, less defined. They pulse with the rhythm of the song, their light ebbing and flowing like heartbeats. You realize the music is coming from them. Or maybe through them. Or maybe through you, too. It doesn't matter. It just is. You drift into a clearing beneath the water. An open stretch of glowing stillness where the lake becomes a mirror not of sky, but of soul. The surface reflects not your face, but your quiet. Your softness. Your rest. Shapes begin to emerge beneath the surface. Not shadows. Presences. They move slowly, as if wading through time. Each one is familiar, though you can't place them. They aren't people, not exactly. They are moments. Choices. Turning points. They rise gently through the water, not to speak or explain, but to offer themselves back to you. You feel them as sensations. The courage it took to rest when the world didn't. The gentleness you once gave when you had none left for yourself. The grief you softened alone, in silence. These shapes circle the boat in still procession. They do not demand your attention. They simply wish to return to you what you left behind while surviving. You don't need to reach for them. They already belong. One of them, smaller and warmer than the rest, hovers beside you. You close your eyes, and it drifts into your chest. It feels like a hug you never received but always remembered. A soft breath catches in your throat, then releases. The water grows brighter, not with light, but with presence. The echoes begin to drift upward, their song growing fainter, but deeper. They are not leaving. They are rising, making space for what comes next. You feel their blessing in your bones. The boat glides forward again, passing beneath an arch of weeping willows whose tendrils float like threads of mist. As you pass through them, you feel a soft brushing sensation along your shoulders, like being forgiven without ever needing to ask. The song fades. The stillness remains. The next chamber of the lake opens before you, vast and shimmering. You don't wonder what you'll find. You simply receive it. The chamber ahead feels wider than anything you've passed through. Not in size, but in silence. The water spreads out into a vast dome, held in place by nothing but stillness. The ceiling above curves gently, made of translucent silver mist, through which soft lights drift like slow-falling snow. The boat enters without hesitation. Inside, the air is thicker with calm, and your breath slows to match it, each inhale a thread, each exhale a letting go. At the center of the dome floats a massive stone, smooth, round, and pulsing faintly with a pale blue glow. It doesn't rest on anything. It simply is. Around the stone, small rings of light orbit, moving at different speeds, different heights. As the boat draws near, the stone begins to hum, not with music, but with memory. It speaks in the language of quiet recognition. You feel the sound in your chest, behind your eyes, under your ribs. It is not asking anything of you. It is showing you something. Around you, the water shifts, and the images return. Not memories exactly, but echoes of who you've been in moments you almost forgot. You see yourself curled beneath a tree once, small and hidden, listening to rain. You feel the moment you first realized someone's silence was safer than their words. You remember a laugh, yours, freer than any thought. These moments move through the water like beams of moonlight, softening as they go. They do not judge. They do not linger. They only pass. The stone pulses again, and the boat stops moving. You understand. It's time to be still. The rings of light slow, then begin to descend. One of them touches the edge of the boat, and instantly a warmth spreads through your spine. Not heat, presence. The feeling of finally being seen in your quietest places. Another ring brushes your shoulder, and something inside unclenches. You hadn't even realized you were holding it. You close your eyes and feel the others passing through you, each one delivering something you didn't know you'd lost. Grace. Permission. Rest. The stone pulses one last time. This pulse is different. It carries with it a message, wordless but clear: you are not here to fix yourself. You are here to be with yourself. As you are. Whole in your softness. The rings rise again, returning to their slow orbit. The boat moves forward once more, gentle as breath. Behind you, the stone dims slightly, its work complete. Ahead, the lake begins to curve. The path narrows. A gentle pull tugs at the current, not rushing, not urgent. Just inviting. You let yourself follow. There is nowhere else you need to be. The lake narrows into a slow-moving ribbon, its edges lined with low, glowing grasses that shimmer with a pale gold light. The grasses bend toward the water as you pass, brushing the surface with delicate tips like fingers tracing forgotten lullabies. The air here is warm and thick with softness. You feel it cling to your skin, not uncomfortably, but like the embrace of a thick blanket on a winter night. The boat follows the curve of the lake, carried by a current that seems to know exactly what you need and when. No decisions. No questions. Just flow. Along the banks, small lights flicker, tiny orbs suspended in the reeds. Some drift upward like fireflies. Others hover low, pulsing gently in time with your breath. They aren't stars, and they aren't alive, but they feel like wishes that were never spoken aloud, waiting patiently to be remembered. One floats toward the boat and settles beside you. It doesn't ask to be noticed. It simply remains. You watch it glow, and something inside you settles too. You don't need to name it. You don't need to understand it. You only need to feel it. The water deepens again, becoming a mirror not of what's above, but of what's beneath. You lean slightly over the edge and see not your face, but a version of yourself resting, eyes closed, expression soft, body loose and weightless. This is not a vision of the past. It's a message. A reminder of how your being looks when untouched by urgency. You watch that reflection for a while. It doesn't move, but you feel its rhythm inside you. The boat glides past tall columns that rise from the water like sculptures, shaped from moonlight and sleep. They lean in different directions, some nearly touching, others curved like question marks too tired to ask. As you pass between them, a light breeze stirs for the first time. A breeze that doesn't come from the surface but from within the water itself. It carries with it the faint scent of something soft and old. Maybe lavender. Maybe paper. Maybe nothing you've ever named before. You breathe it in, and something inside exhales in return. The columns fade behind you. The grasses grow shorter. The light shifts toward blue. The passage narrows again, leading to a quiet basin nestled within folds of the lake bed. The water here is still. Not flat, still. As though it has been waiting without expectation. The boat slows. Ahead, the basin glows gently. At its center is a wide, circular platform made entirely of soft white light. The kind of light that doesn't shine, it rests. You drift toward it, and the air grows even quieter. Even softer. You are being invited. Not summoned. Welcomed. The boat pauses at the edge. You don't need to step out yet. You only need to know, this is where something begins. You sit in the boat for a while longer, floating just at the edge of the glowing platform. The light that rises from it doesn't blind. It doesn't even shine. It simply is, steady, full, patient. You feel it settle across your shoulders like a soft shawl, woven from warmth and rest. When you finally stand, the boat holds you steady, and as you step onto the platform, you feel your weight shift not downward, but inward. Like being remembered by your own bones. The surface beneath your feet is solid but yielding, like soft clay warmed by gentle hands. Each step you take toward the center is met with silence, not emptiness, but deep presence. You arrive at the middle without knowing how many steps it took. It doesn't matter. Nothing is being measured here. In the center of the platform, a small pool waits, perfectly circular, its surface flat and dark, absorbing all light without resistance. You kneel beside it, and as you look in, you see not your face, but the shape of a single breath. The image of an inhale held just before it becomes an exhale. A moment suspended. A pause that carries everything. You reach out, not to touch, but to witness. And as you do, the surface of the pool begins to change. Ripples move outward in slow rings, and in each ring, a different version of yourself appears. Not from other lives or timelines, just the selves you've worn and set down along the way. There's one who once gave too much. One who learned to be quiet when she wanted to speak. One who dreamed loud and fell softly. One who laughed in the dark, just to feel the echo. They don't look at you. They don't need to. They know you're watching. And in that knowing, you feel them return, not as regrets, not as fragments, but as kin. The pool settles. The images fade. You sit back and close your eyes. The platform begins to hum, low and warm, like a song sung by the ground beneath your feet. It travels through your spine, your chest, your fingertips. You feel it in your breath. You feel it in your memory. And then you feel it let go, not vanish, not leave, but release you from holding anything tightly. You rise. The platform begins to dissolve around its edges, its light growing thinner, more transparent, until only a faint glow remains. The boat is waiting. You return to it without thought. The moment your feet touch the wood, the platform fades completely, like a dream you were never meant to cling to. The water ripples once, then stills. The boat turns, slow and sure, and begins to drift again. Ahead, the lake glows faintly purple, the color of endings that feel like beginnings. You lean back. The journey continues. The quiet deepens. The lake stretches on, wide and slow, like time exhaling. The purple glow ahead deepens with each passing moment, not into darkness, but into stillness, like velvet drawn gently over the sky. The boat rocks once, softly, as if adjusting its rhythm to something even quieter. The water here feels thicker, though it parts just as easily beneath the hull. You look over the edge and see no reflection, no image at all. Just color, pulsing in and out like breath. And then, shapes begin to appear. Not reflections, not memories, but symbols. Lines, curves, fragments of meaning drawn in soft light. They hover just beneath the surface, shifting slowly, never settling into a single form. You don't try to read them. You only feel what they offer, understanding without explanation. Forgiveness without apology. The knowing that rest is not a thing to be earned, but a right that was always yours. The boat continues. The world around you dims further, until all that remains is that glow, that hum, that soft pull forward. Up ahead, an island begins to form, a small one, round and low, floating on the water like a thought that refused to disappear. The boat circles it once before drifting to its edge. You step out, the ground here firmer than before, made of something like sand but warmer, finer. You sink slightly into it with each step, not sinking down, but sinking in. The center of the island holds a single tree. Its trunk is silver gray, and its leaves shimmer like threads of rain. They do not rustle. They breathe. Beneath the tree lies a bed, woven from reeds and light, shaped to cradle you, untouched but waiting. You walk toward it and lie down. The moment you do, the sky above you changes. It pulls open, slow and wide, revealing stars that drift like lanterns through a midnight ocean. They move in spirals, gentle and endless, each one blinking at a rhythm that matches your pulse. The tree above you hums, a sound not from wood or wind, but from long-held stillness finally exhaled. You feel your body begin to dissolve into the bed, not disappearing, but unburdening. Thought loosens. Memory flattens. There is no edge here between you and the lake, between the tree and the sky. You are part of it now. The water, the breath, the quiet. You close your eyes. The stars continue their slow orbit. And somewhere deep beneath you, the echoes shift once more, preparing to rise. Time flows differently beneath the tree. It no longer moves in lines but in soft spirals, looping inward like a shell held to your ear. You lie still, your breath now part of the breeze that moves through the leaves. The stars continue their slow drift above, blinking gently in a rhythm you've long since stopped trying to count. The quiet has taken on new texture. Layered and warm, as if the silence itself has memories. Beneath you, the island hums faintly, and you feel a soft vibration moving up through your spine, into your chest, behind your eyes. It doesn't ask anything of you. It simply reminds you that you are here. That you stayed. That you listened long enough to hear your own breath again. Then, like mist forming a thought, the tree above you begins to shimmer. The leaves glow brighter, and from their edges, tiny droplets fall. Not rain, not dew, but liquid light. One lands on your forehead, and instantly you are elsewhere, not gone, not dreaming, but seeing. You are in a room of water and air, a chamber without walls, where echoes float in long strands like ribbons suspended in slow motion. Each ribbon carries a sound, a feeling, a moment. You drift among them, not choosing, only witnessing. One brushes your shoulder, and suddenly you remember the feeling of being carried. Not physically, but emotionally, when someone knew you were too tired to hold it all. Another curls around your hand and shows you the moment you first trusted the quiet more than the noise. You do not cry. You do not smile. You simply feel it all and let it pass through. The ribbons begin to rise, floating upward toward a point of soft gold light above. As they vanish, the room begins to fade, and the tree above you slowly dims. You return to your body as gently as you left it. The bed beneath you is warmer now. The breeze is softer. And when you open your eyes, the island has changed. The ground beneath the tree now sparkles with tiny fragments of light, like seeds waiting to be planted. You sit up slowly. The stars begin to gather overhead, forming a slow spinning spiral that mirrors something deep in your chest. You look toward the edge of the island, and the boat is there, waiting. You rise. The sand holds your feet as if memorizing your steps. You walk back across the island, past the tree, past the shimmer, carrying nothing, needing nothing. When you step into the boat, it rocks once, then steadies. Behind you, the tree glows one last time and then stills. The boat turns, drifting once more into the quiet current. The lake stretches ahead like a breath waiting to be released. The boat glides away from the island, its motion barely noticeable now, like the swing of a hammock caught in a long afternoon breeze. The stars above slowly fade, not all at once, but as if dimming to let something softer take their place. In their absence, the sky fills with a milky blue light, not from any sun, but from something gentler, an ambient glow that carries the feeling of dawn without the urgency of morning. The water below mirrors it, creating the illusion that you float not between sky and lake, but between two layered silences. Around you, the lake widens once more. But instead of vast openness, you begin to see outlines, structures made of pale glass and soft mist rising from beneath the water's surface. They're not buildings. They're memories shaped into shelter. A hallway lined with doors you've never walked through, but always sensed behind your dreams. A room with no furniture, just warmth, and the faint sound of a lullaby with no lyrics. A window looking out on something you've long forgotten but still hoped for. The boat doesn't stop at these places. It only lets you see them, feel them. Know that even the unvisited places inside you have always been held with care. The current carries you through this quiet city of soul, where nothing is rushed and everything breathes. The structures begin to dissolve behind you, returning to mist and water, like fog lifting after a deep sleep. The path ahead narrows again, and from the stillness, a voice rises, not in words, not from outside, but from within your own breath. It speaks only in presence. And what it says is this: you are allowed to rest. You feel the truth of it in your chest, like a weight you didn't know you carried dissolving all at once. The boat glides toward a low archway formed from two sweeping branches, their tips dipped in soft blue flame. As you pass beneath them, the light brushes your skin with a tingle like static made of kindness. On the other side, the lake opens into a spiral. A slow-turning whirl of water and light, wide and deep, moving so gently you barely notice the motion. The boat drifts inward, drawn not by force but by invitation. At the center of the spiral is a well, round, dark, and waiting. Not ominous. Not mysterious. Just patient. As the boat circles closer, you feel your breath begin to align with the spiral's rhythm. Inhale, drift. Exhale, turn. The motion grows tighter, more intimate. You are being drawn in, not trapped, not caught, but held. The well is near now. The spiral will bring you to its edge. And you know, without knowing how, that what waits inside is not an end. It's the place where all the echoes begin to return. The spiral tightens, and the well at its center draws closer with each gentle turn. It does not pull you with force, it welcomes you with gravity softened into grace. As the boat nears the edge, the water stills again, becoming so calm it no longer reflects light, only feeling. You lean forward slightly, and the well comes into view. It is deeper than it appears, a column of endless dark not made of shadow, but of unspoken softness, something that has always existed inside the silence. The boat halts without sound. For a moment, everything is still. Then the water within the well begins to shimmer, not with light, but with memory. Shapes rise, slow and fluid, not breaking the surface but forming just beneath it. They are not visions. They are echoes. Pure, tender, without story. One drifts upward, and you feel the sensation of being forgiven for something you never said aloud. Another follows, warmer, wrapping around your shoulders like the presence of someone who once waited with you in silence. A third appears, and your throat tightens gently, not in pain, but in recognition. This one is grief, not sharp but softened, like a long exhale through trembling lips. Each echo floats upward, brushes against your presence, and dissolves. They don't linger. They return. To you. To the water. To peace. You feel something inside begin to open, not quickly, not all at once, just a loosening. As if your own depths had grown tired of carrying things alone. The well pulses. Once. Then again. The sound it makes is not a sound at all, but a sensation deep in your chest. The lake responds, rippling outward in perfect circles. And then the well speaks, not in language, not in thought, but in presence. You are allowed to return to yourself. The words, or whatever they are, settle across your skin like light settling on water. You close your eyes. In the dark, you feel yourself lowering, not falling, not diving, just gently descending, as if gravity itself has become kindness. You are no longer in the boat. You are floating, weightless, surrounded by liquid stillness and quiet breath. The well wraps around you, soft as silk, endless as dream. The descent is slow and sure. There is no urgency here. No path to follow. Just this moment, drawn inward like a tide made only for you. Deeper and deeper you go, until even the idea of rising vanishes. There is no surface now. Only depth. Only quiet. Only you, being held by the thing you never knew how to name, your own waiting softness. The descent eases, slowing until you are no longer moving at all, only suspended, buoyant in a place without direction or pressure. There is no up or down, no past or next, only here. Only now. The quiet wraps around you like a second skin, weightless and forgiving. Your body feels loose, as if it remembers how to soften in places it had forgotten were tense. This is not sleep. This is not dreaming. This is rest of a different kind. Rest that lives beneath thought, beneath sensation, beneath even memory. It's the kind of rest that belongs to you even when you forget how to ask for it. Around you, the space within the well begins to glow, not brightly, but steadily. Not from a source, but from within. The light does not shine, it reveals. Shapes form again, not visions this time, but threads, strands of you, thin as breath, luminous as morning mist. They weave themselves slowly into patterns, swirling gently in the water around you. You watch them with a soft gaze, not needing to understand. They move like answers to questions you never had to ask. One thread drifts closer and brushes your cheek. Instantly, you feel something in your chest unclench. An invisible knot untying. Another thread wraps gently around your wrist, not binding but grounding. You feel held, not by something outside of you, but by your own quiet recognition. These are not just pieces of you. These are you. The parts that waited. The parts that protected. The parts that watched while the rest of you carried on. And now, they return. Not with fanfare. With peace. The threads begin to weave around you slowly, not trapping, but cradling. Forming a soft cocoon of light and stillness. You float inside it without fear. There is no need to move. No need to decide. Only to receive. Time, if it exists here, pulses gently. One long inhale. One long exhale. The cocoon hums softly, its rhythm matching yours perfectly. And then, somewhere far above, or far within, a chime rings out. Just once. Clear. Round. Final. It does not mean ending. It means enough. The threads begin to dissolve, not disappearing, but becoming you again. You feel them settle into your bones, your breath, your sense of self. As they do, the light within the well softens, fading into a blue so deep it might as well be sleep. You begin to rise. Slowly, smoothly. As if the water itself is returning you with the tenderness of a lullaby's last note. The ascent is not a journey. It is a return. And above you, the lake waits with open arms. The water above shimmers faintly, like a memory blinking open after a long rest. You rise slowly, your body still weightless, your breath steady, the quiet now stitched into every part of you. The glow around you begins to fade as you pass through layers of softening light, each one brushing your skin like pages turning themselves gently in a forgotten book. You feel no urge to rush. There is no destination, only this slow return to somewhere familiar, not because you've been there before, but because it has always waited for you. The surface of the lake approaches, but this time it doesn't shimmer like a barrier. It opens, parting like silk to let you through. You emerge into a sky of muted lavender, lit from no sun but full of light. The boat is there, waiting, rocking gently. You step into it without effort, your body moving like it belongs here, like it remembers something you never needed to be taught. As you settle into the boat, the surface of the lake becomes still once more. You look around, and everything feels the same but changed, as if the world had exhaled with you. The echoes that once followed you now drift beside the boat like companions, no longer separate, no longer waiting. They are quieter now, not because they are distant, but because they are at peace. A breeze begins to stir, the first true wind you've felt since arriving. It's cool and scented faintly of pine, smoke, and something softer, something like childhood. It rustles the surface of the water, carving faint paths in the stillness, and the boat begins to move again, gliding across the lake as though guided by the wind itself. Ahead, you see a gentle shore forming, low hills covered in silver grass that bends toward you. Trees shaped like open hands stand at the edge, and between them is an arch of woven branches glowing with soft amber light. As you approach, you feel the lake behind you whisper a goodbye. Not a closing, but a resting. A promise that the door will always remain open. The boat slows. The shore nears. You step onto it, your feet meeting the ground with ease. It holds you like a long-lost friend. The echoes gather behind you one last time. You turn. They hover there in silence, their light warm, steady, complete. One by one, they bow, not in submission, but in blessing. Then they rise and scatter into the air like embers on the wind, drifting upward into the lavender sky. You watch until the last one disappears. And then you turn toward the arch. It is time. You step toward the arch, the woven branches glowing warmer the closer you come. There's no door, no threshold, just light woven into shape, as though the act of walking through it is what gives it meaning. The silver grass brushes your ankles like old memories returning only to bless. As you pass beneath the arch, a soft breeze rushes upward, not from behind, but from within the earth itself. It smells of something both new and ancient, like the pages of a forgotten journal, or the first rainfall on warm stone. The light within the arch folds inward, wrapping around your shoulders, your breath, your thoughts. Not to obscure, but to soften. And then, as you step fully through, the world shifts. Ahead lies a path made of pale stone, winding through a forest of tall, silent trees whose leaves shimmer like glass touched by moonlight. Each step you take feels intentional, as though the ground rises slightly to meet your foot. You're not being led, you're being welcomed. The quiet here is different from the lake. Less watery, more rooted. The stillness of things that have seen every season and still choose to bloom. The path leads to a clearing, round and open, at the center of which stands a mirror, not of glass, not of water, but of light shaped into reflection. It floats above the earth, slowly turning, and when you draw near, you see not your face, but your presence. Your essence. Not how you look, but how you feel when you are completely at rest. The reflection glows softly, pulsing with your breath. Around it, the trees begin to hum, not with sound, but with vibration. You feel it in your fingertips, behind your ribs, in the space between thoughts. The mirror brightens slightly, then stills. It invites you to approach. You do. As you reach out, your fingers pass through its surface like mist parting for morning. You close your eyes. And in that moment, you are everywhere. You feel the lake beneath you, the well within you, the stars above you, the echo beside you. You are not separate from any of it. You never were. You are the stillness. You are the ripple. You are the breath held just before waking. The mirror dissolves. You open your eyes. The clearing is the same, but something inside you is not. The path ahead is familiar now, not because you've walked it, but because it remembers you. You turn toward it, and with one soft breath, you begin to follow. The path winds gently, curving between trees whose trunks gleam with a quiet wisdom. Their bark is etched with patterns that resemble your own breath, waves, spirals, pauses. You walk slowly, not from tiredness, but from reverence. There's no urgency in your steps, only rhythm. The kind of movement that comes from trust. The forest is deep, but never dark. Light filters down in soft beams, not from a sun, but from the space between things. It lands and pools on the ground, illuminating the moss like stardust fallen to earth. Each time you pass through a beam, it feels as though something is released. A tension. A worry. A thought you didn't realize you were holding. And with each release, you become lighter. Not weightless, just easier. More yourself. The path dips slightly, and up ahead you see a small stream weaving across it. The water is thin and silver, barely a whisper over the stones. You crouch beside it and dip your fingers in. It's cool, but not cold. It carries the feeling of distant memory. One drop clings to your fingertip longer than expected, and you feel it hum against your skin. A single wordless message: you are enough. You rise. The stream continues behind you, fading into the moss. The path leads you onward. The trees begin to thin. The light ahead brightens into a clearing edged with wide, low stones that seem placed by time itself. At the center of the clearing is a pool, smaller than the lake, round and still, its surface reflecting the sky without question. You approach and kneel beside it. In this reflection, there are no echoes, no shapes, no memories. Only you, present, whole, and quietly held by the world. You close your eyes. A breeze moves through the clearing, lifting the scent of soft earth and something sweeter, like the memory of laughter echoing across still water. When you open your eyes, the pool shimmers once, then settles. You stand. The path continues on the other side. You follow. Your steps now feel like part of a song too slow and subtle to be heard, only felt. Behind you, the clearing remains untouched. Ahead, the trees form a long tunnel, curved like a cradle. The ground softens beneath your feet. The air grows warmer. You are walking not towards something, but within something. A space that welcomes your every breath. A path shaped in the quiet of who you've always been beneath all the noise. You keep walking. And the forest, the light, the breath, it all walks with you. The tunnel of trees narrows gently around you, not in confinement, but in embrace. Their branches arch overhead, weaving together like the fingers of old friends, forming a canopy that glows from within. The light here is softer than moonlight, warmer than candlelight. It doesn't cast shadows. It erases them. Your breath falls into rhythm with the hush of the forest, slow, even, quiet. Each inhale feels like a return. Each exhale, a letting go. The ground beneath your feet becomes more like velvet now, soft and yielding, shaped by every step without resistance. You feel it remembering your passage. There is no sound of footsteps, only the pulse of presence, like a heart beating in the soil. You pause. Not because you need to, but because the stillness calls you to. Up ahead, the trees part once more into a circle of open sky. You step into it. This new clearing is not empty. In its center stands a figure, not a person, not a being, but a form made of shifting light and shadow. It pulses with a quiet familiarity, like someone you've never met but somehow remember. It doesn't move. It waits. You approach slowly, heart steady. The figure is translucent, made of shimmering threads that sway gently in an unseen breeze. You stop just a few steps away. It raises no hand. It speaks no word. But you feel it, deeply, certainly. This is you. Not a reflection. Not a version. A witnessing. The presence that has always walked with you in silence. The part of you that watches with love even when you forget to look. You stand before it, not in awe, but in understanding. The figure begins to pulse with light. 1 beat. 2. Then it begins to unravel, not fading, but opening. The threads that formed it stretch outward, not to disappear, but to wrap gently around you. One by one, they brush your skin, your breath, your past. Each one carries a whisper of kindness. Not declarations. Just truths. You are safe. You are enough. You are still becoming. The threads gather around your shoulders, your back, your chest. They form not a burden, but a cloak. A garment made of all the softness you once withheld from yourself. And as the final thread settles, you exhale. The clearing dims slightly, not from loss, but from completion. The figure is gone. Or rather, it is within you now. Fully. Quietly. Finally. You turn. The path remains. You follow it, not out of duty, but because now, you are ready. The path resumes beneath your feet, quiet as breath, firm as trust. The forest seems to lean back now, no longer enclosing you but bowing gently on either side, as if in quiet acknowledgement of your passing. The air is cooler here, not cold, just crisp. Like the moment between waking and opening your eyes. You walk slowly. Not out of fatigue. You're not tired. You're full. Full of silence, of light, of everything you didn't know you came to find. The trees grow smaller as the path rises, curling gently upward, like a thought forming into language. And then, just ahead, you see the lake once more. You've returned. But it's changed. Or perhaps you've changed enough to see it clearly now. The surface is impossibly still, reflecting not just the sky but something deeper, understanding. Around its edges, the soft grasses sway as they always have, but now they seem to dance to your rhythm. The echoes are gone, or rather, they're no longer separate. You carry them now, in your breath, in your steps, in your softened gaze. The boat is there. Of course it is. Resting at the edge of the shore, where the sand meets the water in a line too gentle to disturb. You step in without hesitation. The wood holds you like a memory you've finally made peace with. The boat begins to move, not forward, not backward, just across. You are no longer arriving. You are simply being. The lake stretches around you like a held breath, and for the first time, you feel the difference between stillness and silence. Stillness is presence. It is breath. It is life, unmoved by urgency. The boat glides without direction now. There is nowhere to go. Only this. The rippleless water, the silver grasses, the sky painted in dusk's slow colors. You lean back, arms at your sides, and let the lake hold you one final time. In the distance, you see it, the arch of trees where you began, still glowing faintly, as if it has been waiting to see who you would become. You drift toward it. Not returning. Completing. As you near the arch, the light within it pulses, once, twice, a soft farewell. The boat passes through. The light fades behind you. The lake opens into quiet horizon. You are not arriving. You are not leaving. You are here. The horizon spreads out in every direction now, as if the lake has unfolded its borders to reveal something vaster, an openness beyond place, beyond thought. The boat no longer moves by current. It floats as if carried by your breath alone. The sky has shifted again, deepening into a warm indigo, scattered with soft stars that pulse rather than shine. They don't twinkle. They breathe. You lie back in the boat, and for the first time, there is no path ahead. No pull. No invitation. Only this, floating, held, whole. You feel the stillness around you become more than silence. It becomes texture. It becomes memory. And then, sensation returns, not as touch, but as presence. You feel your own body, not heavy, not light, but true. The cloak of woven thread still rests over your shoulders, no longer glowing, but warm. Familiar. A second skin made from every part of you you've reclaimed. Above, the stars begin to move, not across the sky, but within it, slow spirals, drifting together in quiet constellations that feel like lullabies you've never heard but instantly remember. One star drifts lower, almost brushing the surface of the water. Its light touches the tip of your finger. A warmth spreads through your hand, up your arm, into your chest. You close your eyes. And then, something shifts. Not loud. Not sudden. A knowing. You have reached the center. Not of the lake. Not of the story. Of yourself. There is no next step. No final passage. You are here. And here is enough. The boat slows, though it was never moving fast. The air stills further. The sky above folds gently inward, like a blanket being pulled across your dreams. You feel yourself letting go, not of the journey, but of the effort to hold it. It is within you now. Always will be. The boat rocks once, soft, like a cradle. The stars dim slightly, just enough to signal sleep. And the lake hums, low, round, complete. A hum that speaks not in words, but in certainty. You have arrived. Not at a place. At a truth. A quiet so complete, it no longer needs to be named. You let your breath slow. The air moves through you like forgiveness. The water stills beneath you like acceptance. And the sky above? The sky holds space for one final dream. The boat barely moves now. It rests more than it floats, cradled by a lake that feels like an extension of your own breath. The air is dense with softness, the kind that arrives only when all questions have quieted. Above, the last of the stars spin lazily, not to mark time but to honor it. Their spiral widens, then narrows, like the rhythm of sleep itself. Your eyes flutter closed, not from fatigue, but because the moment no longer needs seeing. It needs only being. Behind your closed eyes, you see not darkness, but color, indigo shifting into lavender, lavender into gold, gold into nothing. It pulses in gentle waves, as if your breath had become light itself. Somewhere deep in that color, you feel the presence again. Not separate. Not watching. Just with. It does not speak. It does not guide. It rests beside you like the weight of a loved one's hand on yours. And you understand now, this has always been here. Even when you forgot how to listen. Even when the noise drowned everything. Even then, it waited. For this. For you. The boat rocks once more. The lake releases a long, slow exhale. You inhale in answer, and something inside you expands. Not in size, in softness. You feel as though you are dissolving gently, not vanishing, not fading, but melting into the stillness that first dreamed you into being. The stars above slow their spiral. A hush settles across the sky, like a blanket tugged gently up to your chin. You feel the edge of sleep now. Not the kind that steals you. The kind that welcomes you. That wraps you in memory and promise and peace. The lake comes again, softer than before. Just a murmur now. A lullaby sung by silence. You don't need to think. You don't need to remember. You don't even need to stay awake. All that was meant to reach you has arrived. All that needed to return has returned. And everything else is gone with the ripple that never came. Your body feels warm and weightless, as if floating on breath itself. You are not dreaming. You are resting in the dream that has always held you. The dream of being enough. The dream of being still. The dream of being. Sleep pulls at the edges of you now, not insistently, but like a tide washing gently over warm sand. You are not resisting it. You are returning to it. The boat drifts in place, surrounded by a mist so soft it might be made of lullabies. The sky above fades into a deep velvet blue, stars blinking slower and slower, like eyes beginning to close. Somewhere beyond your hearing, a bell chimes once, then stops, not to signal time passing, but to mark the fullness of this moment. The lake responds with one long, low vibration, so subtle it moves through you rather than around you. You are barely aware of your breath now, not because it has stopped, but because it no longer feels separate from the world around you. You are the breath. You are the water. You are the echo of stillness itself. Above, the final star dims, and the sky becomes a warm, dark hush. The boat begins to tilt, not to tip, but to lean gently, as if preparing you for the moment when even the idea of wakefulness dissolves. You let your arms rest at your sides, your head tilted slightly back, and you allow everything to soften, your thoughts, your spine, your name. None of it matters now. Only this quiet. Only this peace. A breeze rises once more, slow and circular, spiraling around you in an embrace too wide to measure. It carries a whisper you do not need to decipher, because you already understand it with every part of you. You are home. The lake is still. The sky is silent. The boat no longer moves. And within you, all echoes have found their source. There is nothing left to find. Only this moment. Only this dream. You drift deeper, until thought becomes mist, and mist becomes warmth, and warmth becomes sleep. Pure, clean, endless. A sleep that is not escape, but arrival. A return to the self you've always been beneath every sound, every thought, every breath. The lake fades. The sky exhales. The world dims, and you, soft, steady, whole, let go. There is no more boat. No more lake. No more sky. Only stillness. It holds you without weight, without question, without edge. You are not floating anymore. You are being. Fully, deeply, silently. Thought no longer knocks at the door. Time no longer taps on the glass. Even dreams rest their heads and close their eyes beside you. You are beyond, yet not gone. You are within, yet not confined. The presence that once stood beside you now beats within your chest, soft, slow, steady. It keeps time not with minutes or hours, but with trust. There is no more path to walk, no more shape to shift. Everything that needed to unfold has found its place. The well has emptied and filled. The stars have danced and slept. The echoes have quieted into song. Around you, a darkness more comforting than light spreads in every direction. Not absence, but embrace. Not void, but fullness. You breathe once more, deeply, as if for the first time, and for the last. It feels like the closing of a book that no longer needs to be read. Everything is known. Everything is understood. You are whole. And then, in the softest corners of you, something new stirs. Not to wake. Not to rise. Just to hum. A new echo, born not from longing or memory, but from peace. A gentle reminder that stillness is never truly empty. It holds the seeds of every beginning. One day, you may rise again. You may walk another path. Another dream. Another quiet. But not yet. For now, this is enough. This soft dark. This boundless hush. This sleep that asks nothing but your presence. And so you let go. Not into forgetting, but into deep remembering. The kind that needs no words. The kind that has always lived beneath the lake. Beneath the sky. Beneath even your breath. You fall, gently, endlessly, into rest.